What a fucking year, man. What's going on, my little bundle of chestnuts? It's your girl, Kate Winchester here, and I'm still pregnant. And I'm gonna get ready for New Year's Eve because it is my first New Year's Eve with somebody, and I get to have a New Year's Eve kiss. And on top of that, I'm just excited for 2021. I had a lot of things happen in 2020. 2020 was eventful for me, and for a lot of people, our grandkids are probably going to be learning about what happened in 2020. With Corona and schools getting shut down and people losing their jobs because they weren't essential workers. People having to order their groceries and order DoorDash to eat if they couldn't buy groceries. Just a lot of things were going on. But for me, I just wanted to kind of break down how my 2020 went and then what my New Year's resolutions is. So it started off with January 7th, I started Job Corps, which is like a college type thing. And should I use this red lipstick or you know what? I'll use this red lipstick, like whatever. So what I was trying to say was, it's like a college type thing. It's like a thing for people to kind of get started with their lives. It goes from 16 to 25. If you don't have your high school credits, you can go to high school. They have an academics building for high school. They have all kinds of trades and stuff so that you can get your certification. Like for me, I want to be a surgeon, but I had to start with a CNA class because that's what they had. So I just graduated from Job Corps and I got my CNA. So now I can apply for jobs for home health aides. I can be like in a retirement facility. I can be I don't want to say nursing home. That's not the right word anymore. But I can work with residents and make their lives and their transition there more comfortable until I can go to nursing school to kind of get my nursing degree and then move on up there. So, then on January 11th, I met the love of my life, and here's how that happened. So I was in class, right? I was in week 1. I was learning about how Job Corps was going to go, all of my classes and all that. And this guy walks in, and he is beautiful, okay? He is gorgeous. I normally am a flirt, but I could not bring myself to talk to this man. Because he was just beautiful, and I felt like it would be an injustice if I opened my mouth towards him. I just felt like I should not be breathing the same air as this man. Like, I was disrespecting him just by being in the same room as him. Like, he was just... just thinking about it now, man, like... Moist. But... So he walks in to flirt with my best friend, and because they were just kind of fooling around. They weren't dating, they were just fooling around. And he walks over to her and starts talking to her, and this was the first day of class, by the way. And then he sees me, and he walks over to where I'm sitting, and he goes, "Hi." And I'm over here just like, oh fuck, what do I say? So I'm like, "Hi." And he goes, "My name is Nathaniel, what's your name?" And I'm like, shy as fuck. I'm like, shit. I'm like, and like I said, I just felt disrespectful by breathing the same air as this gorgeous individual that walked into my classroom. I was just like, I should not be breathing right now. Like, that's disrespectful as fuck. Hello.
Hi.
And here I am continuing to be disrespectful. That was a fucking battery, you asshole.
You love me.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the door locked?
So that people didn't disturb me while I was filming.
Oh well. You know I could get in this door by just pushing it.
It was worth a shot.
I mean, yeah, it still shuts all the way and locks all the way. I just know how to freaking and get in the room.
It was worth a shot, okay?
You tried keeping me out, you asshole. Just because I wouldn't give you cuddles. Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm over here just like, Amberlee. And he's like, what? And I'm like, Amberlee. And he was like, sweetie, I can't hear you. And when he called me sweetie, I almost fell out the damn chair. I was just like, God, take me now. Like, honestly, I was just like, I'm so sorry. Like, he said sweetie, and I almost died on the spot, man. I'm blushing just thinking about it. But he was just like, sweetie, I didn't hear you. And I'm like, Amberlee. And he goes, oh, that's a very pretty name. My name is Nate. My name's Nathaniel, but people call me Nate. What's your trade? I'm CNA. What? CNA. CNA. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like, he was just being a smart ass because he knew that I was like shy, and like I am not a very shy person. So that's how you know I think somebody is drop dead gorgeous if I don't talk. Like, that's how you know. That's how my friends in high school knew I had a crush on someone. That's how somebody in Job Corps knew I had a crush on Nathaniel. It's because every time he'd come around, most quiet person on the planet. I could go from really loud screaming about a YouTube video, and then all of a sudden he walks around and I'm just like, I literally did not want to talk at all. So he was trying to tell me, he's like, he started flirting on the spot, man, and I'm over here just not knowing what to do. Like, I knew he was flirting, but I just thought, that was just his type of, I was just like, oh, all guys that are gorgeous and know they're gorgeous flirt, whether they have a crush on you or not. They just like to get you flustered, so I didn't think he was serious, so I just kind of was silent about it. But he's like, so what's a beautiful girl from Arizona like you doing over here? I'm just like started turning beet red, and then Mr. White, my teacher, he just goes, okay, Nathaniel, stop flirting and get out. I'm just being nice. Get out. Okay, well, I'll see you around. And freaking, like the movies, he moves a strand of my hair out of my eye and winks and walks out of the classroom. What the fuck? So Sabrina, my best friend, she didn't like me at the time because of this interaction. She hated me. She was like, was he flirting with you? To be honest, I don't know. And then my friend from sitting across from me goes, yes, he was. She slams her hand on the table and goes back to her desk, and I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on. But from then on, he just kept flirting. Like, he just kind of kept coming around and just started, like, he was more like a silent observer. Like, the more I got to know him, he was just very silent, very quiet, I would ask him if he wanted to hang out. He'd kind of shake his head and just, people were like, no, it's not you, that's just him. He's just a loner. He just doesn't really like to talk to a lot of people, especially females. Don't take it personally, that's just him. Okay. So I walked over to him and I was like, do you have a problem with me? He was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, I just noticed that you were quiet, he's like, well, you're still my friend. You're my friend. Don't worry. It's just, I don't trust some of the people you hang out with. Okay. So, and then my best friend, Sabrina, you remember her? I was just talking about her. Yeah. She knew I had a crush on him. And, like, we became friends because she caught me crying from, like, a different story for another day, and she asked me why I was crying, and then I told her, she's like, oh, I hate that bitch. And then we became best friends from then on because we had a shared interest in who we hated. Just because we hated the same person, we became best friends. Oh, I think it's kind of funny. Just sort of like, oh, I hate that bitch, let's be besties, like, so from then on, and then every time Nathaniel would ask her out, she would say no. And then finally he goes, why do you keep turning me down? Because Amberlee likes you! And I'm sitting there in the middle, I'm like, and then he goes, oh, really? Yes! And he looks at me, he goes, okay. And then walked away. And then the next day, he walks over to me. He's like, hey, what's your Snap? Huh? He's like, what's your Snapchat? Your Snap. You know, and he was like, do you not have a Snapchat? And I was like, no, I have a Snapchat. He goes, okay, what is it? Because he's a smart ass. He's like, okay, what is it? So I gave it to him. And then he goes, okay, thank you. And he just walked away. Next thing I know, I get a Snap. He just said, hey, you're very cute. We should talk more. Winky face. And then from then on, I was his bitch. I was like, all right then, I'm hooked. January 28th, I started dating the love of my life, and here's how that went. Okay, so I was talking to him about how I have this teddy bear that I have never let go of. I don't even remember how that happened, you know. I don't remember why we started talking about that. But he just sends me the Snap that says, I can be your teddy bear. Like, and I'm over here just, like, in bed with my roommates. Like, there was, like, 4 people to a room. I was bed 4, so I was at the very end. I have bed 3, bed 2, bed 1, and bed 1 was a bitch. Bed 2 was just kind of silent, but agreed with Bethany, but kind of agreed with bed 1 for everything. Bed 3 was my friend. She was cool. Me and bed 3 both had a very shared hatred for bed 1. But, you know, bed 1 was a bitch, you know. But anyway, so I was sharing the Snaps with bed 3 and giggling. I was like, what do I say? And she's like, say this. Like, bed 3 was like, he likes you. He's not fooling around. He likes you. And I know, I finally went over to Nathaniel and I told him, I was like, look, I'm falling in love with you. And I see the way you talk to other people. I see the way you talk to her over there. I've seen the way you look at her over there. And I've seen the way you smoke with her over there. I'm falling in love with you. And seeing you talk to all those other girls, it's breaking my heart. So let me know if you actually like me or are just playing with my heart so that I can move on. And he was like, wait, you're in love with me? I said, yes. And he gave me a kiss. He kissed me and he goes, I'll stop talking to those girls. And from then on, he stopped talking to them. But he legit kissed me and said, don't worry, I'll stop talking to them, babe. She just called me babe. He didn't even say, you want to be my girlfriend. He didn't even say, I want to be your boyfriend. None of that. He just kissed me and called me babe. All right, I guess we're dating now. I guess we're a thing now, you know? And I told Sabrina, I was like, so I guess we're a thing now. And she said, what makes you think that? And then I told her that. I told her what happened, and she goes, oh no, he's your boyfriend now. Congratulations. And I'm just like, thank you for what you did, by the way. And she's like, you're welcome. I knew you wouldn't say it. So I had to, as your best friend. You know, I kind of took the liberty of making you guys a match. And the thing that I love about Sabrina is she is bisexual. She has told me that she has a crush on me. She has made it very clear that she has a crush on me and that she would like for us to be girlfriend and girlfriend. And before Nathaniel and I got serious, I told her, I was like, if Nathaniel and I ever break up, you are next. Because I like your personality, I like your vibe, I like how you're just very honest and real, so yeah, you'd be next. And she heard this, and she still hasn't tried to break me and Nathaniel up. She has been my number one supporter. She has been our number one supporter. Anytime somebody would try to start a rumor about me because they want Nathaniel, a girl would come up to Nathaniel and tell him that she caught me cheating on him. A guy would come up to me and tell me that they caught Nathaniel cheating on me just because they have a crush on the other one and they want to break us up so that they have a chance, you know? Just anybody that has a crush on us or like whatever, or just didn't like us, they just didn't want us to be happy, so they would start rumors about that kind of thing, cause me and Nathaniel to fight, and have the other one be like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then genuinely cry because we think we're gonna get left for something that wasn't even a thing. And then Sabrina's like, I was with her the whole time, or I was with him the whole time. That never happened. She's lying. He's lying, you know? But she has never been one of those people to lie or try to, you know, she knows that she is next. She knew the entire time that she was next, and she still was my best friend. She was still our friend and our supporter, and was like, well, just because I'm next doesn't mean that I'm going to ruin their relationship, And I like that about her. That's why she is still my friend. So if any of you that are watching this that had a crush on one or the other of us and have tried to break us up, fuck you. I know who you are. You know who you are. And I almost beat your ass countless times. But if it wasn't for Nathaniel or Sabrina, I would have beat your ass. Anyways, I wrote down a bunch of key points because my ADHD brain is fucked up. February 14th, I lost my virginity. I made a video about that. So the thing was, Nathaniel was, like, from the moment we were just flirting, before we became a thing, he was talking about how he wants to get me in a hotel. And I'm thinking, okay, And part of the reason why I was so hesitant on telling him that I have feelings for him was because people like him, like that looked like him or whatever. In high school, I would fall in love with them, or love, It's high school, so love. I would fall in love with them or whatever, and then they would tell me that was the goal, and it was a dare, and it was like a bet. I was the one girl that everyone would tell their friends, like, oh, you have a crush on Amberlee, or like, you have a crush on that girl over there. And it was like a joke, or they would pick on their friends by saying, oh, this guy has a crush on you, or whatever. And I would walk up to them to see who they were talking about, and they would be like laughing and embarrassed or whatever, because nothing was more embarrassing than having a crush on me, or like dating me or whatever. And I thought that he would be one of them, especially when he brought up the whole having sex kind of thing. I was like, okay, maybe he has a dare to get another one under his belt, including the virgin from Arizona, So we got into a fight about that. Like, I got mad. I was like, why would you do that to me? And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, why would you do that? Why would you make a bet like that? Why would you get me to fall for you just to do that? And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, chill, because he had no idea what I was talking about. And then I told him, I was like, how much are you going to earn? Huh? How much money is on this dare? How much money is on this bet? And he goes, none. And I was like, oh, so no money's on it? You just wanted to do this for free. Like, this is a free thing. Like, so what? You get key pointers? Like, what group is going to let you in if you do this? What kind of initiation is this? This is how being bullied, this is what being bullied does to you. Like, and he just gave me a hug. He's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I have no idea who did that to you, but I swear it is not like that at all. And I was like, prove it. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, don't mention sex to me for a week. Okay? For a week, do not mention sex. Do not touch me inappropriately. You may hold my hand, you may kiss me, you may do all of that. But the second you mention sex before I'm ready, I'm going to assume it's a dare and I'm out. And he goes, okay. And then he never mentioned it for a week, and then I finally started talking about it, and then he looked at me, he's like, we don't have to. We can wait. And that's how I knew he was the one. Because he mentioned it once as a guy, like just as a guy. And then he's like, I only mentioned it because I love you. I only mentioned it because I love you and because I want to have sex with you because I love you. You're not the only girl I've had sex with. But you're only the second. You would only be the second. And I'm 18. And I heard that, and I was like, oh, well, now I feel like an ass, And he was like, no, like, I get it, I was bullied too, so I completely understand. But he told me, he was like, we can wait. I can wait for as long as you want. How long are you planning on waiting? And I was like, well, it is my morals to wait until marriage. And he goes, okay. Well, then I'm just going to have to make you fall in love with me enough to want to marry me. And just hearing that again makes me want to cry. Fucking hormones, man. But I knew he was the one, and then, like, after he said that, and then I get to thinking, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, he's doing it. He's making me fall in love with him. God damn it. So, long story short, we have sex on Valentine's Day before we were married. Oh, I'm sorry. We were only together for almost a month. We weren't even together a month. It would have been a month on February 28th. We had sex on February 14th. Oh. But it was close enough, you know. And on March 14th, I had my very first miscarriage. I conceived on Valentine's Day. When I lost my virginity, he did not wear a condom, and I was not on birth control at the time. I mean, I was, but I missed a pill. That's what happens. You know, I missed a pill, and then I got pregnant, and I miscarried. And I don't talk about it a lot because it's painful to think about. And I don't want to cry, especially right now because I'm putting on mascara and I'm getting ready for this New Year's Eve party. But it was a lot, you know. It was very painful. It was not just a painful experience physically, but also emotionally and mentally, because I just lost my virginity, you know, and I just lost a baby, you know. Like, even if I wasn't planning on keeping it, I wasn't going to abort it. I was going to give it up for adoption. I was going to give up this baby for adoption. Open adoption, because I was still in school. I had no money in my name. The only money that I had in my name was the money that my parents were sending me. And I don't want me and my baby living off of daddy's money, you know? I don't want it to be like that. So I was going to do open adoption, where I can still see my baby and be in my baby's life, but so that I'm not being selfish and making my baby, like, not be able to eat because of how poor we are, you know? So, but it still hurt because I wanted to see my baby still. I wanted to bond with my baby. I wanted my baby to grow. I wanted all of that. But, you know, 4 a.m, I wake up to this immense pain, and I'm bleeding, and I'm screaming, and walking to the bathroom because it feels like I have to take a shit. But, like, it's more than that, though. It's the worst pain that I have ever felt, and I can't even describe it to you. Like, and my roommate, she wakes up, bed one, she wakes up and she goes, "Why are you screaming at 4 a.m. when we have class in an hour?" And I was like, "I think I'm having a miscarriage." "Well, how do you know?" "Look on my bed." She looks on my bed, and there's, like, this big thing of blood. It's, like, this tall, and it's about, like, this wide. It's covering the whole entire bed. It looks like I was murdered. And this girl has the audacity to look at me and say, "That blood better be gone by the time we get back." So, bed 3 goes and gets the RA for me. And the clots are falling out of me, by the way. I'm sitting on the toilet, and these clots are falling out, and I just know that I'm losing my baby. So I'm screaming in pain of emotional, like, I'm losing my baby, and physical, oh my god, this hurts, you know? And the RA comes in, he looks at my bed, he goes, "Sweetie, I'm so sorry," like, and this man was normally a racist, you know? He was racist. He had a problem with all of the white girls and all the Mexican girls and the Asian girls, but he did not have a problem with the African American girls. He was all buddy-buddy with them. But that's another story for another time. So I was not, but long story short, I was not expecting this man to be nice to me at all. But he said that he felt bad for me and that I am going to miss my classes because I need to rest. So I called my boyfriend, who was not the man he is today. Let's just say that. He was very, he was kind of a jerk back then, to say the least. And I know that because, you know, I called him. I was like, I just had a miscarriage. And he's like, really? Like, you just lost a baby? I said, yeah. I need you. Like, can you stay by the dorm real quick and give me a hug or something? Because I need to see you. And he was planning on ditching class that day anyway. He was planning on ditching because his friend was going to need him or whatever. So I was like, I'm going to need to see you. And he goes, you know, I decided I'm not ditching today. I decided that I'm going to go to class. And I was like, okay, that's good, but I still need to see you, you know? And then he just goes, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be late. I can't come and see you. And I was like, you would bend over backwards for your friend. I ask one thing of you. One thing of you. When I need you the most. And you're going to tell me that you can't do it? And then he goes, fine, I'll fucking be there. So then I'm like waddling to the dorm because I'm in pain, you know, and I can't even stand. I'm barely walking. And then he just goes, hurry up. Like, he texted me, hurry up. He gave me 1 second long side hug and said, okay, I gotta go. What the fuck? Now, before you go and start saying that, oh, the way he treated you, like, you know, he's an asshole, whatever, he was scared. We just lost a baby. He was 18. I was 19. We were young. We were scared, you know? I'm not excusing his behavior at all. In the least. And for those of you saying, you didn't have a miscarriage, you would have had a D&C. Fuck you, okay? Yes, normally we would do a D&C. But they said that they didn't believe me about being pregnant in the first place, even though I know I tested positive. And they told me that I was probably just having a really bad period and overreacting. But since my RA already excused me from all of my classes, that I'm just gonna stay in the dorm. But if they see me outside of my dorm, I am going to get a write-up. So they didn't do a D&C because of the fact that they didn't believe me. And how am I still alive? I think it's because I bled it all out during my period that I got 3 days later. And I know that I bled it all out during my period because it was extra heavy. Like, extra heavy. Like, to the point where I needed 2 pads. Like, I would put 1 pad over my underwear, and then I would put another pad on top of that. And sometimes I would need a tampon as well as the 2 pads. And the blood was, like, extra dark. Like, and it's a little graphic, but I'm just saying, like, it was extra dark. There was a lot of, like, extra little clots in there. Like, I don't want to talk about that anymore. March 21st, COVID-19 really hit, and we all had to go home. I was devastated because of the fact that I just met the love of my life. And I just started dating the love of my life. And we had to go home. I already made so many friends. I just feel like I was back. I just felt like I was back to square one, you know, like, because we all had to go home. We all had to say goodbye to all of our friends that we made. And just, it was very sad. It was a very sad day. And when we got home, mine and Nathaniel's relationship changed, like, in a good way and in a bad way. Like, the way I would say it changed in a way that I would never expect it to. Like, on May 28th, him and I broke up. For reasons that, he lied to me about. He told me that it was because I was clingy and because I acted like his little sister. But in reality, it was because his family was actually threatening him and just being toxic as fuck and made him break up with me. And he did some things when he was younger that he kind of got in trouble. So they had some dirt on him. and they threatened that they would call the cops, even though his record is now clean because he was 18 at the time that they were threatening all of this. And the times that they were going to get him in trouble for was when he was 16. So by now his record is squeaky clean, but they didn't tell him that, and he doesn't know very much about those types of things. So they were manipulating him. And they told him that if he told me, that they would call the cops anyway, whether he broke up with me or not. So he called me on my anniversary, on our 5-month anniversary, mind you, and said that, I was clingy.
I need this. Your dad's home.
Okay. But he said, his aunt made him say that they were breaking up with me because I was clingy and because I acted like his little sister, and just all of this stuff that was really hurtful and just not true at all, and just, it really hurt. And in my moment of insanity, I decided to try and take my own life. And I'm not going to say how, because I already made a video discussing it, about going to the mental hospital and all of that. But I will say that while I was in the hospital, it was very scary. Like, a lot of things that should not have happened in there happened. Like, for example, they are not allowed to tell you that if you don't follow in with the treatments that you don't feel comfortable with, that they won't allow you to go home. My doctor told me that I could go home as long as I consented to everything and as long as I did what I was told. And that if I felt like, and I did it all wrong, but it's whatever, but, I was begging to go home every day that I was in there, And they were telling me that, oh, you can't go home because, your parents are scared that you're going to get in touch with this guy and, you're just going to go back here because he's going to tell you something that you don't want to hear, And technically, at that point, even though I am an adult, I didn't have a choice to be there, I didn't want to be there, but I didn't have a choice because I tried to kill myself. And if you try to hurt yourself, when you're in the mental hospital, you don't have a choice anymore, Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, if you're hearing voices or whatever, you don't have to go to the hospital unless you feel like you have to, unless you feel like you want to, But they will still make you go if you have thoughts of killing yourself or other people. Especially if you act on it, Okay, why isn't this blending? And it was really scary there because a lot of things I could not say no to, Like, for example, I was on the phone with Nathaniel in the hospital. And Nathaniel said something, I can't remember what he said, but it pissed me off and it made me sad. And because it made me sad and I was angry, I decided to take the phone from the hospital and slam it on the thing because I was angry and I forgot where I was for like 0.2 seconds. And they saw me as a threat. And because they saw me as a threat, a nurse took the phone from my hand, took me to my room, and threw me on my bed and told me that if I said no to this, they were going to tell the doctor, and if the doctors found out that I did not consent to treatment, they were not going to let me go home on the day that they said I could go home. So, because of that, I let this doctor tie me up with my bed sheets and really tuck my feet in, and he had to sit there and watch me while I cried and begged him to please let me out. And he goes, "Are you not consenting to the treatment? Do I have to tell the doctor that you are not consenting to the treatment? Do you not want to go home?" Like, he was really, like, harassing me with that. Like, he knew that I wanted to go home. They all knew how bad I wanted to go home. Because every day I begged the doctor to just please let me go home. I was not going to try to kill myself again. I understand what I did was wrong. I just had a freak out moment, but please just let me go home. You know, and this doctor, the nurses, they would give me something that I didn't like or do something that I didn't like, and I was about to say no, and they'd be like, "Oh, are you not consenting? Oh, are you not consenting? Do we have to tell the doctor that you don't want to go home that bad?" Just because they wanted to do whatever they wanted, you know? If you did not consent, they would write into your notes, the patient is refusing to do this, and they could catch you saying no to anything and tell the doctor that you have misconduct or whatever. And because you had misconduct, that could really put a strain on your release time. Like, for example, I was told that I would go home on that Monday, which was June 1st. Because of the whole telephone incident, I did not get to go home until the 2nd. I had to stay an extra day just because of the fucking telephone thing. And I understand why. I mean, they kind of saw me as like a threat because of the fact that I did that, you know? And I should not have mistreated their stuff. And I already apologized to the doctor countless times for that shit. I was like, look, I understand what I did, you know. I did not mean to break any of your stuff. I wasn't trying to sound threatening or scare the patients or anything. I was just mad and I was sad because I wanted to go home. You know, I didn't tell them who I was on the phone with, but sometimes I would get a phone call from him telling me to call him back when I was back in the day room. Because all I really wanted to do was sit in my room. I didn't want to eat very much. I would go to the cafeteria with everybody else and I would get my food like everyone else. But I would just kind of sit there and pick at it or just not eat very much because I was that sad and just depressed and just did not want to be there, you know? So I was at the lowest I'd ever been. Like, I was angry that I was in there. I was angry that I was alive. I was angry that I didn't die that night. I was angry that the doctors in the physical hospital didn't let me die. I was just very sad and I was just not in a very good point in my life. And, you know, then Nathaniel, you know, he called me at the hospital and told me to call him back. So I called him back, and this is what I was so angry about. I was so angry because of the fact that I was on the phone with him and I thought he was going to take me back, you know, because he normally did. And he just called to tell me that he thinks I'm a whore and he thinks I'm stupid and he thinks that I should not be in there right now. And this was all just a cry for attention. When I was the most heartbroken I had ever been, like, I saw him everywhere, man. Like, I would think I would see him in the corner of my eye, like, walking towards me, and I would turn around and he wouldn't be there, or I would go to sleep and have a dream about him and, like, how he told me that he had always loved me and he was there the